Gamescom 2010.
So we have a few questions
Okay.
about Fallout New Vegas. Why do you choose New Vegas as a location for the first Fallout series spin-off?
Well, we wanted to focus on New Vegas because we felt that the setting was very distinctly different from the Capital Wasteland in Fallout 3. The Capital Wasteland is on the east coast of the United States, and it has a very specific sort of gloomy look to it. So for Fallout New Vegas, we decided that we wanted something that was radically different. So it's set in the area of the Mojave Desert around Las Vegas, or the ruins of Las Vegas. And we chose that because visually it's very distinctly different. It's obviously set in the desert. All the plant life is very different. This area was not hit very heavily by nuclear weapons, so the skies are blue, and you can see the sun in the sky. So we wanted something that felt very different. Also, to a lot of Americans, at least, Washington, D.C. represents sort of the center of American history. It's where a lot of our monuments are. It's where a lot of our founding documents are. It's where our government is based. Las Vegas, to many people, represents American vice, gambling, prostitution, drug use, and all forms of excess. And so in many ways it's very different from Washington, D.C. So we thought that it would be a nice counterpoint to the Capital Wasteland that was developed in Fallout 3.
Okay. So in these years, Western RPG conquered a very big slice of gaming market and place in a gamer's heart. While JRPG, one of the most loved genre in the past, is fading down. Why, according to you, the player turned to the Western formula? So why people prefer to play Western RPG than JRPG? Do you think it's a question of technology used in games, or simply the players enjoy more Western RPG?
I think that JRPGs still have a very large following, and they're obviously very graphically polished, and many of them look incredible and have lots of crazy gameplay elements and cool stuff to them. I think that why many people enjoy Western style RPGs is because of the sense of freedom they give to the player. They're able to make their own characters, their own appearance for their characters. They're able to choose what kind of personalities their characters have. Their characters aren't just sort of without personality, or with a personality that's defined by the game's designers. So I think that what appeals to people about Western RPGs is that sense of freedom, and that they really can make their own character and make their own way through the story. Games like Fallout New Vegas also give the player the ability to explore the world however they want. So they can go off in a direction and just see what they want to see, and they can get into trouble, or succeed or die, whatever. It's really up to them. So I think that people really embrace that sense of freedom in Western RPGs.
New Vegas dev team, there are also developers from previous chapter of the game, of the series, like Fallout 2. Do you think that can it mean that with Fallout series old fans can find the game enjoyable like in the past?
Well, I think that we want Fallout New Vegas to appeal to people who are fans of the original games, and we also want people who are fans of Fallout 3 to enjoy them. One of the things that we've tried to do is bring back a lot of the old organizations and some of the characters from the first two games, so that fans of the Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 will find a lot, basically have a lot of good memories of those games. Will say like, oh cool, it's the New California Republic, or it's the Gunrunners, or oh, it's Marcus from Fallout 2. And so we hope that people will enjoy the gameplay improvements we've made, whether they were fans of Fallout 3 or not. Especially if they were fans of Fallout 3, we hope that they like the changes we made to real-time combat, to the skill system, to the perk system, and also the additions like things like reputation, which actually go all the way back to the original games as well. The ability for the player to develop different reputations with different communities and different organizations, and to have that change their standing with those groups and change what quests are unlocked or how people treat them just even walking around in a community.
Do you think to offer new DLC content also for Fallout New Vegas, like Fallout 3?
I think that there are a lot of people at Obsidian that would love to work on DLC, but ultimately that's up to Bethesda if they want to do it. We view in many ways Fallout New Vegas as a continuation of many of the things that happened in Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. And by the end of Fallout 2, the New California Republic had actually become quite large. And so you're starting to see more societies start to grow on the West Coast. So the Capital Wasteland is actually in a much more destroyed state, and it isn't quite as evolved in terms of rebuilding society. So in New Vegas, we're showing that the West Coast has continued to grow from after Fallout 2 because it's 40 years later. So even though there might seem to be a distinct difference between Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas in terms of how society is rebuilt, we're hoping that people will accept it because of the huge distance between those two locations, and also because of the precedent in Fallout 2 that society had rebuilt much more on the West Coast.
So there will be different communities in the game that will fight each other?
Yeah, there are...
That's the point.
Yeah, in Fallout New Vegas, there are many small communities that are out in the desert around New Vegas itself. And, of course, there are the large organizations like New California Republic and Caesar's Legion that are sort of vying for control of the region overall. So the small communities are not so much at war with each other. They're mostly just trying to find a way to survive. Some of them are being overrun by escaped convicts from NCR who are working on railroads. NCR is trying to rebuild railroads throughout southern Nevada. Other places are just kind of holding out and hoping that Caesar's Legion doesn't overrun them. Some places have already been overrun. So it's really about these small communities out in the desert that are just trying to survive, and then the city of New Vegas itself, which contains the outer area, which is kind of overrun with raiders, and then the central area, which is all walled off by a huge wall of it's actually a wall of billboards, and it's reinforced and patrolled by robots, and so that area is sort of a secure haven within the wasteland, but everything outside is still pretty dangerous.
No one of these communities will be evil or good, so they all try to survive. The player will choose what community, whatever he wants. He's a choose of the player.
Yeah, the player doesn't necessarily have to help those communities. The player can actually kill pretty much anything in the game, anyone in the game. Only children. You can't kill children. But it was early on we said that the player had to be able to complete the game with either without killing anyone or killing absolutely everyone that they came across. So in many cases, the people that live in communities are not they're mostly good-natured people, but player doesn't have to help them. The player can work against them. The player can actively try to kill them. The player can help people that are working against the town or various towns, and then of course the player doesn't have to help the city of New Vegas either. The player can help Caesar's Legion if they want to. So again, that goes back to why people like Western RPGs is if they give the player a sense of freedom and the ability to do what they want to do, and so we want to support that.
Player will have an active role.
Yes, the player needs to have a very active role. It's very important to us.
It's not just a passive watching a movie.
Yes.
We play the game.
Yes.
Okay.
For New Vegas, are there some plans for 3D support?
I actually don't know the answer to that. I think somewhere they were showing a demo. I think maybe NVIDIA was showing a demo of 3D technology working with New Vegas, but I actually don't know much about that. Sorry. Ciao, cyberroost.com.